Good place to call home?
I'm just relieved more than anything.
Well, you threw a 5,000-ounce goal at us. You nailed that. You threw a 7,000-ounce goal. Our season total is 7381.1 for the season.
We got to shut a plant down.
Parker Schnabel had to do the unthinkable, shut down his Alaskan mine because he found too much gold. This is the same Parker who started working his grandpa John's claim at just 16. Now, at 28, he runs one of the biggest gold mining operations in the Klondike. Will his latest find be worth the risk? Let us dive into Parker's incredible gold discovery that will change the industry forever. Running out of mining space. Mitch and Tyson are facing quite a challenge with two different plants running, and they're rapidly running out of mining space. To spread out the workload efficiently, Parker has split his rookie Alaskan crew into two groups. One group, nicknamed the Wolf Cut Team, is tasked with digging through untouched land that's rumored to hold high-quality ore, deep down at about 30 feet. It's going to take them more than a few days to even reach it. On the other side of the mining area, the Drift Cut Team is urgently looking for valuable finds to help pay for their mining operations. Mark, who has recently taken over as Parker's foreman, isn't a fan of renting additional wash plants because it hasn't worked out well in the past. But since the new plant they're building isn't ready yet, they have no choice but to use a rented one. Whenever new workers join the team, it's always a mix of hope and worry. There's the potential to find a standout worker or end up with someone who doesn't meet expectations. Parker's main issue at the moment, though, is that Mitch isn't around to help manage things. Their first big task is getting the wash plant properly set up on its platform to check its functionality. Parker is counting on his smallest, yet powerful red rocket wash plant to process at least 150 yards of material every hour. Mark has to carefully position a 20-foot tailings conveyor to see if it fits into the setup. Parker guides him to adjust it slightly to the right, a crucial step in getting everything to fit together. It's a time-consuming process, but eventually, the team manages to set everything up correctly. After 2 years of setup and anticipation, Parker's mining operation in Alaska is fully functional. He's now a step closer to determining if this venture can secure his future in the mining industry. Naturally, Parker is feeling a bit nervous about whether all this effort will pay off. Parker Schnabel's team has already processed nearly 1,500 yards of old-timer drift tailings. He gathers his crew for the first gold weighing session in Alaska, aiming to achieve a gold recovery rate of 1 ounce per hour. Because the scale they have can only measure in standard ounces, not troy ounces and grams, they decide to weigh the gold in grams. After the weigh-in, they discover they have 430 grams of gold, which translates to 13.82 ounces, just under their target, but still worth over $23,000. Despite not hitting the 1 ounce mark, the team is very happy with the outcome. And now, they're thinking about how many hours they can keep the operation running each day. This isn't just a victory for Parker. It's a significant achievement for all Alaskans. It's the first major gold discovery in the region in more than 10 years. Parker and his team's hard work and dedication have clearly paid off. Parker is well known for his generosity, often rewarding his team for their hard work. As the season progresses, the pressure mounts, especially as they reach the final stages. At Parker's Indian River claim, Mitch is under pressure to sluice as much dirt as possible before the season ends. They keep both wash plants and the sluice running non-stop to make the most of the time left. Mitch promotes Evan, a young and enthusiastic crew member, from driving rock trucks to operating a loader, a step up that Evan is excited about. Mitch then informs Tyson about an urgent problem. A significant amount of rocks has contaminated their wash solution, and they need to deal with it fast. They bring in Parker's heavy-duty machine, Big Red, from Alaska. Despite their efforts, they initially find no gold, which means no revenue, even though they're spending a lot on operations. They know they need to get serious, finish this task, and boost their morale. They quickly set up Big Red, and it's running smoothly in no time, processing a lot of material at the Pucker Snubbles airstrip. However, After shutting down Big Red a few times due to rocks in the sluice, Mitch finds a damaged screen, a significant setback. Rocks in the sluice indicate possible gaps where gold can escape, necessitating manual removal of the rocks and screen replacement. With Big Red ready to go, the team is set to work, but new problems are coming that will test them even more. Big Red's operational struggles. Mitch points out the rough nature of the material they are processing, which is evident from the tailings. These materials are sharp and harsh, wearing down the screens through continuous operation. Eventually, the worn-out screens must be replaced. Setting up Big Red was a struggle, but with the new screen in place, the crew is hopeful that the hardest part is over. Now that everything is set up and running, they're ready to dive back into work with renewed energy, determined to make up for lost time and find as much gold as they can. Evan has gained immense respect from the entire crew for his sharp observation skills. His ability to spot the rocks in the sluice runs prevented a potential buildup that could have severely hampered their gold extraction process. Mitch deeply appreciates the level of trust his team places in him and recognizes the significant responsibility he carries in managing the plant. For Mitch, stepping up to these challenges is not just a job duty, it's a vital part of his growth, and he's genuinely excited to be tackling these responsibilities. Once they finally got Big Red running again, the machine started operating smoothly, much to everyone's relief. It quickly began processing the dirt, proving that all the hard work to set it up was worthwhile. The crew was incredibly thankful to see Big Red back in action, knowing that their efforts hadn't been in vain. Their next task was clear: keep feeding Big Red consistently to maintain its performance. Mitch's birthday brought an unexpected and extraordinary surprise. Amidst the celebrations and well wishes from Parker and the rest of the team, Mitch was presented with an astonishing gift: a gold ashtray made entirely out of gold, leaving him utterly speechless. The surprise was so beyond anything he could have imagined that he struggled to grasp the reality of the moment. The ashtray, valued at $12,000 and weighing 6.95 grams, symbolized the team's gratitude for his hard work, especially his efforts in getting Big Red operational again. During the celebration, Parker playfully hinted that it might take another 30 to 40 years for anyone else to receive such a lavish gift. Laughter filled the air as the crew gathered around Mitch to celebrate his special day and express how much they valued his presence and contributions. The excitement was palpable when it came time to weigh the first significant gold find from the runway cut, a moment of high anticipation. The crew watched eagerly as the scale numbers increased gradually, 10, 20, 30, and finally resting at 51.6 ounces of gold, valued at about $90,000. This significant find underscored the potential profitability of keeping Big Red operational. If they could maintain its performance throughout the week, they estimated it could generate up to $500,000 in revenue. Meanwhile, another plant, Lucifer, had also been performing exceptionally well, consistently processing material from the payback cut. Previously, Lucifer had produced an impressive 210 ounces from one cleanup. The crew was anxious yet hopeful as the latest results were about to be revealed. They held their breath as the scales climbed: 20, 40, 150, 200, 300, and peaking at 360.05 ounces. The joy was infectious among the crew members as they calculated the haul to be worth nearly $600,000. They realized that if Big Red could achieve similar results to Lucifer, the financial outcome would be extremely rewarding. Parker Schnabel's rise to prominence on Gold Rush was unexpected. Initially, the show centered around his grandfather, John Schnabel, and the Big Nugget Mine, with Parker playing a minor role. However, when his grandfather stepped down during the second season, the focus shifted to Parker, thrusting him into a leadership role that would eventually lead to considerable wealth, with his net worth hitting an estimated $10 million by 2020. This shift from a background miner to the forefront of the show dramatically changed his life's path. Reflecting on what might have been during a discussion on Reddit, Parker mused about the alternative paths his life could have taken had the show not become a central part of his life in Haines. He shared his regrets about missing out on college and more traditional learning experiences. Parker had intended to study mining engineering at the University of Alaska Fairbanks and still thinks about possibly pursuing that degree in the future. After fixing early issues, the team gets a short break, but their tough work and need for gold push them to keep going. Life beyond the mines. Despite the demanding nature of his gold mining enterprise and the filming schedule, Parker manages to find time for relaxation and personal enjoyment. In a Reddit Q&A in 2018, he discussed his downtime activities with fans. Parker enjoys visiting London to observe the editing process of the show and spending quality time with his film crew. He also likes to travel, spend time with his dog, play in the snow, and gear up for another season of mining. These moments offer him a rare chance to unwind and enjoy life beyond the mines, providing precious opportunities to connect with friends and crew members outside the intense work environment. In another part of the conversation, someone wondered what Parker does with all the money he makes from mining gold, especially since he doesn't show off fancy cars or a big house on TV. Parker excitedly mentioned that he had bought 2 new bulldozers last winter. However, he hasn't decided on a permanent place to live yet, admitting he's still figuring out where he wants to settle down. Parker's simplicity and modest lifestyle, despite his success and fame since the debut season of Gold Rush, keep him relatable and genuinely interesting to watch. He remains much the same person at heart, not much different from the young miner who first started on the show, which is a big part of his appeal to the audience. John Schnabel, a significant figure from the Gold Rush series on the Discovery Channel and the owner of the Big Nugget Mine in Porcupine Creek, Alaska, passed away in his sleep as per his family's announcement. He was 96 years old. Born in Kansas in 1920, John's early adventures included running from the law due to his bootlegging activities, and he eventually made his way to Alaska for a fresh start. He also served in the Army Air Corps during World War II. In 1950, he married Irma Dyer, and together they raised 5 children. John turned to gold mining later in life to keep himself active following a major heart surgery in 1986. From the very beginning of Gold Rush, John was a familiar face, often seen alongside his grandsons, Parker and Payson Schnabel, who also play prominent roles in the show. Management of the Big Nugget Mine shifted to Parker as John's health started failing due to age. Over the recent years, John faced cancer and a serious health scare that left the show's viewers eagerly waiting to see what happened next. After graduating in 1938, John first worked for the Weyerhaeuser Timber Company to save up some travel money and learn a bit about running a sawmill. His family bought a sawmill in Haines, where they built a small cabin that was their home for many years. In 1939, John left his job, headed to Seattle, and caught a ship to Haines, working en route to afford his travel and save some extra cash. When he arrived, he was nearly broke, but managed to pick up a crucial message at the post office. After World War II in 1946, John and his brother George were determined to revive their milling business. The construction of new roads during the war had improved access to their products, but they returned to find their mill destroyed. Despite the property owner's death and the ensuing legal challenges, they pushed forward to reclaim and rebuild the mill site. It took several years, but they eventually secured the property rights. They later acquired an old sawmill near a gold mine west of Haines, working tirelessly over one summer to relocate and restart it. And it finally began producing a significant amount of lumber daily. John Schnabel took over the Gold Nugget Mine in Porcupine Creek, Alaska, at age 68, after doctors advised him to stay active following a heart surgery. Contrary to what many might think, John didn't leave the mining rights solely to Parker. He also included his brother Payson, who, although not as well known, plays an essential role in the operations and success of the mine. So, let's get to know Payson Schnabel, another crucial part of this mining story. As Parker's story continues, we look at the important role his brother Payson plays, adding more to the Schnabel family's mining story. Payson Schnabel's background. Payson Schnabel is more than just the older brother of the well-known Gold Rush TV star Parker Schnabel. He has his own list of impressive feats, beyond being related to a fellow reality TV celebrity. As the grandson of the renowned gold miner and businessman, John Schnabel, Payson has made a name for himself too. Hailing from the rugged environment of Haines, Alaska, Payson is celebrated for his dedication to hard work, his ability to enjoy life fully, and never hesitating to say what he thinks. These qualities have drawn attention from fans during his occasional appearances on the Discovery Channel's hit show since he first showed up in 2012. Born to Roger and Nancy Schnabel in August 1992, Payson grew up in Haines, a place tough for the average millennial, but ideal for the Schnabel family who were there to mine gold. Millions of reasons, all glittering and golden. His parents chose this life to work alongside Payson's grandfather, the legendary miner John Schnabel. Following his graduation from Haines High School, which typically sees about 80 students each year, Payson was clear about his future direction. He moved on to the University of Northern Arizona, where he took up a dual-degree program, earning a Bachelor of Science in Construction Management and a Bachelor of Business Administration. Payson is often praised for his sharp business sense, a skill that both his father and grandfather acknowledged and encouraged. He put this talent to good use in his father's construction business, improving procedures to enhance overall productivity and efficiency. Though he's quite the academic, Payson is just as comfortable on a construction site or around heavy mining machinery. In 2016, he embraced the role of project engineer for his family's company, managing various infrastructure projects and leveraging data analysis to boost the gold mining operations. He's also been actively involved in purchasing land for the expansion of the Big Nugget mining operations. While Payson usually keeps out of the spotlight, preferring to work behind the scenes, his collaboration with his brother in front of the camera comes naturally. Parker has been more the face of the mining operations and Gold Rush series, a role that Payson is happy to leave to him. Behind the camera, though, Payson and his father, Roger, are deeply engaged in strategic planning and investments to secure the future of their gold mining business. Payson first graced the TV screens on Gold Rush in the episode Road to Gold, back in 2012. He made additional appearances in the 2014 episodes Grandpa's Last Wish and Grandpa John, and his last appearance came in 2016 in a special episode that paid tribute to his grandfather John Schnabel after his passing. In one memorable episode, the challenge was moving their wash plant, affectionately called Lucifer, to a new location. This required them to take apart the entire plant, transport it, and reassemble it at the new site, a considerable task. The sluice mechanisms within the plant were sensitive. Any small movement could be exaggerated through the system, potentially causing big issues. The team took great care throughout the process, being as gentle and precise as possible to prevent any setbacks. They had previously built a runway for an entirely different purpose, never imagining it would be used to transport a large wash plant. Designating Tyson as the lookout, they cautiously moved the plant, avoiding any mishaps that could leave it stranded in an inaccessible spot. Tyson keeps the crew motivated, constantly reminding them to press on, although doing so is much harder in practice. At one nerve-wracking moment, the whole team feels a wave of panic as the wash plant nearly capsizes. This tense episode highlights the sheer weight of the plant, evidenced by the struggle of the 750 machine as it labors to drag the wash plant onto the platform and turn it by 90 degrees. After intense teamwork and determination, the crew successfully positions Lucifer, the wash plant, upright and level on the platform. The only task left is to attach the 120-foot super-long conveyor belt, which will transport the extracted soil into the plant. With everything set, they load the first batch of dirt from the Panama Canal area into the conveyor and start the plant. Now all there is to do is wait and see if their hard work will reveal any gold in the dirt. Did Parker shut down his mine because of too much gold? Or is there something more to the story that he's not telling us? Is there a hidden reason behind his decision? Tell us what you think in the comments, And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.